Welcome to the Kung Fu Mama Show! What's up, guys? We're back to another week of the Kung Fu Mama Show, and here I am your host, Sarah Chang, and Vincent Serrano is my co host here. We'll be talking about, oh my god, 2020 and COVID. For goodness freaking sake, what is wrong with 2020? It's been the craziest year. We were in pre-prod. We went back to the Philippines in January, and then we were getting ready to shoot our movie. We had gotten all our team together. We were waiting on the main actor, and then our shoot actually kept getting pushed back because of that. When we first got to the Philippines, COVID had already broken out, but honestly, in the Philippines, nobody cared. Everyone was still going out. There was no such thing as social distancing or masks, even though there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of Chinese in the Philippines. And so, yeah, we were still having pre-prod meetings, meetings with 20 people. We have our production designer, our action directors, our sound, and everything. Everyone was there. We're just having all the meetings. Finally, March comes around. People started getting sick, and then President Duterte, he ordered a lockdown, total lockdown on March 14th.
Same day as we're supposed to start shooting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We would have already started shooting, and that would have been a huge loss for us.
We were actually supposed to start shooting in the end of January,
Yes.
and because we had scheduling conflicts with the main star, it got pushed back to February, and then we had to like renegotiate with more, with a new star,
Right.
and pushed back again till March. That's why we actually ended up going on two events. We went on two trips during that time. We went to my college reunion in February, and we went
Yeah.
to a wedding in Boracay, which was really fun. Which is
Oh,
actually a fun way to spend your last few days before COVID. You know,
yeah,
yeah, because we came back.
literally.
We came back to Manila like on March 11,
Mm-hmm.
and then March 11 or 12 or something like that, and then a couple days later, we were supposed to shoot. That's why we came back right away. We were supposed to shoot, and a couple of days later, um, government issued a lockdown, national lockdown.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think we were really saved by that, to be honest, because if you imagine if just one shooting day, having hired everyone, having all the equipment, having all the vans, it's just cost so much money. If we had started, then that would have been a much bigger loss than
hmm
what we're dealing with right now.
yeah, exactly. Our main concern too was our daughter.
Yes, Kali is definitely a number one concern. For the Philippines, we're really lucky because we also live in like a three-story house, so she has a lot of places to go in terms of being locked down within our house, and then we also live in a compound,
Gated
a
compound.
gated compound,
Yeah.
right? So Kali loves to go outside. In fact, she has to go outside literally every single day. So if we were in like an apartment or a condo or something, oh my god, we would really be in a big mess. Um,
Yeah, she actually, I think she had more fun than we did. You
oh
know,
yeah,
she had more fun than we did in lockdown because suddenly here, I mean, she didn't really lose any of her freedom because she could still run around the compound. She can still get out of the house, play with the dogs, the neighbors' dogs, and the neighbors' kids, and um, and she's got her parents 24/7. You
yep,
know,
exactly.
because we couldn't work, we couldn't leave.
Mhm, mhm. So we pretty much just were working out and just staying in the house. I mean, what do we do to pass the time? We played with Kali.
We watched her grow, we watched her change. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and of course we had to exercise all sorts of precautions.
Yes.
We were there with it's me, Sarah, Kali, and her nanny, and so between the four of us were living in the house, and thank God we had the nanny for Kali full time,
We were
So
so
yeah,
lucky.
and so lucky for that. And so,
Yeah.
at least, and she created a structure for Kali. She
Mm-hmm.
made sure that Kali ate, slept, napped, bathed at, at
Yeah.
exactly the same times every single day.
Yeah. Our schedules are hectic. Our prod meetings sometimes go until like 1 or 2 a.m. If we have people, and if we do it in our house, then it's noisy and she can't sleep. And maybe I won't. I also breastfeed her to sleep still at that point, and so I couldn't breastfeed her to sleep either because we've got people in the house. And then sometimes we also had events.
Yeah, we had to attend awardings for our movie.
Yes.
Yeah,
So we have a lot of events, a lot of meetings also happen around dinner time. And all you moms out there know, well, I hope you guys know by now, I think routine is really key. And we don't have any routine. So just because of the lockdown, we were forced to have a routine. And we were luckily locked down with this nanny who's great at the routine. I mean,
yeah, we learned a lot from her. Yeah,
we learned like everything from her.
yeah, yeah.
She's amazing. Our nanny Keely, she'll wake up really early in the morning too. I mean, say like 6 a.m. She'll prepare everything. She'll have the breakfast ready to go. Once Kali wakes up, she'll just grab her from my hands, and I'm still groggy because at this point in terms of her sleeping schedule, she's like very on and off. Sometimes she'll sleep through the night. Sometimes she'll wake up every single hour. It's totally up and down. I mean, I don't know about you guys if you guys have had this kind of experience with sleep, but for us, it's just been like this, especially because we really have trouble staying on a schedule and staying on a routine, which I think is one of the biggest ways to get that sleep routine in. And we just can't. We just, it's always been so difficult for us. So once we have Keely here, she's like, okay, wake up. She grabs baby from me. I'm still groggy, and she's gonna go feed her. I just go back to sleep. I mean, let me tell you, ladies, one of the biggest things to lose weight to get back into shape is sleep. I think just during that month, I slimmed down. I slimmed down like I was in the best shape of my life, I think, during the lockdown. It's crazy. I mean, we did also work out a lot. We also worked out, I also got a good amount of sleep, like everything, like all the things came together and it was perfect. I was like, nicely in shape. We've got a baby that sleeps. Like everything was awesome. As weird as it sounded, the terrible situation of the pandemic.
Yeah, it's crazy how, you could actually make something so negative and so adverse into, something really positive and productive. Like,
Yeah.
like you said, you lost a lot of weight, like in a healthy way,
Mm-hmm.
and we got a routine. We learned how to create routine for our daughter.
Yes.
For me as a, as a writer and director, I was able to complete three screenplays, which I was
Yeah.
on deadline to do.
Yeah.
I needed to do them. So I was really running late. I was able to finish them. You know,
And not to mention, while doing all of these things, we got to spend so much precious time with Kali. And having that one on one kind of interaction with her, we saw her grow, learn one thing each day. Every day she was changing, and every day she was really developing. You could just almost see those brain cells just multiplying. Like at that time she hasn't started walking yet, but she was doing stairmaster. That girl, she's got these
yeah.
like crazy thunder thighs, and she's just like walking up and down the stairs. I mean, with support, she's crawling up and down the stairs of our house. I mean, we've got 3 flights of stairs.
And our third flight of stairs is a spiral staircase. It's actually quite scary because it's like
Yeah,
straight up and it's
and
spiral and
there's
it's,
holes in it.
yeah, and there's like holes where she can go through. She
Yeah,
traversed the whole thing on her own.
exactly. We're
Yeah,
great parents. We just watched her. She's just like,
yeah.
go up,
Our
you'll be fine.
our stunt baby. We spent a lot of time. I mean, yeah, I guess it's, it sucks.
Yeah,
Being locked down. It sucks that we couldn't work. We couldn't get our projects
and it
going.
sucks to be scared. I
It
think
sucks to be
it really
scared.
sucks to be scared to go outside. I
Yeah.
think that's a big thing, especially when you have young children. That's
Well,
always in the top of
we
your
had
mind.
we had the two extremes. We had an infant and we had a senior citizen because
Yeah.
her nanny is a senior.
Yeah.
So we were like, we were like scared to even go out, not for ourselves. I was scared to get out, catch something, and bring it home. And in
Yeah.
fact, one or the other, the nanny and the baby, those are the two people that will really be affected the most. During the lockdown, only one person per household, because you needed like a quarantine pass. Only one person per household can leave at a certain time during the day because there's curfews as well. So you can only go there to get your basic essentials
Yes.
and come right back. I buy everything in bulk,
Yeah.
knowing that I'm not going to go out for another 3 weeks to buy
Yeah.
anything, and then we just store everything and we cook at home and all that. And come back. As soon as I come back, I go straight. I take off my clothes. I go straight to the shower. And Sarah grabs everything before they even go into the house and start spraying them with alcohol and disinfectant.
Yeah. And some things
The
I'll
foods,
actually
the
wash
fruits,
with
everything.
soap and water. Like
Yeah,
everything is like 100% cleaned.
yeah. So you're talking about like 3 weeks worth of groceries,
Yeah.
and you get a disinfectant wash every single one of them, and
Yeah.
that's what Sarah does. Even
Exactly.
even my car, we spray it after we go anywhere, and we've lived like that for months, for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like it was really intense.
Yeah, to be honest, I felt like, I mean, I don't know where it was in different parts of the Philippines, but I'm surprised that the numbers didn't actually start to go down or to plateau, because in the Philippines, I felt like it was really quite strict. You
It's
know,
super
the
strict.
lockdown, you really, I mean, there's a curfew.
We had the luxury of being able to stay home, but what we don't see is the majority of the masses in the Philippines that live in shanties and
Yeah,
cardboard boxes and stuff, and they have no rooms, no partitions. A 10 square meter place can be occupied by 6 to 8 people,
right,
and
right.
they're all like sleeping right on bunks or in makeshift bunks right on top of the other,
Hmm.
with no air conditioning. We blasted the air conditioning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
Oh, which is
on
another
three
story.
floors. Yeah, of course our bill like skyrocketed. If
And
you
it was
were
very hot.
It's super hot, and this is the Philippines. Obviously, there's only one season, and it's hot. And for people like that live in the slums, for example, it's so hot living in these small, tight places that they have to get out.
Yeah,
They none of these people can really afford an N95 mask, and
yeah.
that we had. We had
Or
a
even
bunch of.
just normal
Yeah,
masks.
or even normal masks. They use T-shirts. They use whatever. They do this with a shirt like that, walk around,
Or not at all.
or not at all. They're
Yeah,
like, forget it. I'd rather catch COVID than starve to death. And they got
right.
to go hustle, because a
Yeah,
lot of these people are day workers. They
yes.
they earn a living hand to mouth, day by day.
Hmm.
If they don't work one day, they don't eat. If they don't sell cans or bottles in one day, they have nothing to buy food. So I totally understand, but it's also a difficult thing, right? It's a rock and a hard place.
Exactly. Yeah,
Damn if you do and damn if you don't.
yeah.
You know,
And there were even relief goods. We were sent relief goods every 2 weeks, I believe,
yeah,
which was just like rice and sardines. But I know that there's some neighborhoods that didn't get their relief goods,
yeah, yeah.
right? So it
I heard,
wasn't
yeah,
really all across the board. And maybe if you don't have identification, then you couldn't you
yeah,
couldn't even get those goods. So I'm
yeah,
sure that it wasn't getting to where it was needed.
yeah. Because there's also a lot of people in
Yeah.
the Philippines that are migrant workers, or migrant people. So they're not actually registered in any of the municipalities, any of the cities, or the communities. So when the government, when the local government units starts to put together all the relief goods, they don't count the migrant workers because they don't know that they exist. So
Yeah.
of course we wanted to help, and we've talked about it, and in fact we donated to Philippine Red Cross, transferred money on a weekly basis. But we also knew that if we went out there actively and started passing out goods
Yeah.
and all that stuff,
That's something we couldn't.
we couldn't do because we have a child and we have a senior citizen at
Yeah.
home, and we will just be risking their lives as well. Those two
Yeah.
people are very close to us.
Yeah.
So we wanted to keep a balance in everything. We want to help instead of recklessly going out there and
Yeah.
endangering our child,
Yeah.
and her nanny.
Yeah.
We decided that we'll just do it online.
And then by the time May rolled around, um, they were going to open everything up by June. Vince and I really just made a decision like, look, as much as we'd like to keep chugging on for our film projects, because that one that was canceled, it was still postponed. We were not really thinking that it was going to be completely like out the
Yeah,
door or
we were just
anything.
waiting for the whole crisis to be over.
Exactly.
We had been in communication with our executive producer, and she's basically saying that hang in there, hang in there. By around maybe July or August, we should be
Right.
able to get back into the normal grind and start shooting. That's why we stayed around in the Philippines. We
Yeah.
didn't, we didn't, you know,
We
go
didn't go
back to
back.
Taiwan right away.
I was like, no, no, no. I know. I really need to go back to see my mom. We need to do the quarantine. We need to make sure that she's safe. We need to make sure that Kylie's safe. It's time we go back to Taiwan. We go back to see my mom. We got to spend the time with our family. This is what we need to do. That was our experience with COVID just in the Philippines. And now I think there's something in the background that we might have to take a wah, wah, Kylie break.